I guess when I was a millennial, and actually, what's the generation before that? Because y'all getting up there. You two are getting up there. So let's talk about Gen X.
I'm still young.
No. Y'all getting up there.
Fresh 30.
Okay. I didn't say you're fresh. I'm not saying you're not fresh, but you're not a Gen X. Okay. But what I want to say is, back then, I'm just trying to say that's why if we want to decrease the conflict amongst the generations, instead of looking at the differences, we have to look at similarities.
That's right.
And so the similarities between your generation, my generation, is we also wanted to get up out of our parents' house.
The struggle was
and
real.
let me tell you,
Right.
when I had my first job at Juvenile Hall, I looked at my check and I found it, I don't know, a while back. I think I made $7 an hour, okay? That's because minimum wage is back, and I thought I was making some money because minimum wages back then was like, I don't know, 3-something.
I didn't know what minimum wage was.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
It was. Listen, so people, that's the joy. This is the joy of sharing information. So if I'm making $7, $8, I thought I was rolling. I was bad. I had a car.
You were back then.
You were back then.
I was bad. So check it out. But my apartment probably cost me $600. And even the first apartment I had to share an apartment.
Yeah, you were sharing.
Yeah,
And did you have furniture?
Yes.
Yeah, I made my own furniture, girl, out of a spool.
I did that.
You remember those spools that you get from PG&E?
Yes, that was the table.
Girl,
Yep.
my apartment was laid. I sprayed that thing white. I put some black and white chairs. I mean, it's crazy. I was doing black and white before they started doing black and white. They think that shit's new. That ain't new.
Ain't nothing new under the sun, girl.
Right,
Nothing.
right.
So again, finding the commonality that we have across the generations is what's very important because we have more similarities. If we continue to look at the differences, that's, I think, when we get into these conflicts.
Right.
And I think it's an individual thing. I don't think any generation is lazy. Because I know some lazy people who are my age, and they've been lazy from day one. They've been lazy from day one. They didn't work then, and they ain't working now. Okay. So, yes, I don't think it's a generational thing, but I do think that things have changed, and I have to accept that because I have young people that are in my family, my daughters, my grandson. And I have to look at them and not judge them because they are not doing a 9 to 5.
Right.
Because back in the days, you had to do a 9 to 5 pretty much.
Right.
And I was happy to do a 9 to 5, making my $7-something an hour. Shit.
I also remember when I couldn't wait to work. You know what I mean? Like you wanted to get something.
Oh, yeah.
And you would say, well, I want to get a job. My mom used to say, you have the rest of your life.
I was going to say that.
Work.
My grandpa told me
Once you get involved, why do you want to do this now? Because I want X, Y, Z. And, I felt that I had to earn it.
I want my own.
Yeah, I didn't want anyone to tell me about it or tell me what to do.
Yeah. What I can do, what I can't do, what I can do.
How I get it, whatever. So, those kinds of things. But there's, speaking of the family, because we were talking about dismantling generational stereotypes. I had a generational stereotype because I'm blessed that both my parents are still living and still very much involved in my life. My parents are 91 and 92, 91 this year and 92. But for me to, now that I'm grown, they still think that I'm not grown.
I wonder why.
You're going to always be that baby.
I mean, I'm just like, okay, well, wait, I know how to do that, right? But I've learned that it doesn't change from generation to generation. You know what I mean? The next generation is going to be the same. But I am in awe of your generation in particular, the millennials. Maybe it's because it's the time in life and stage that I'm in also, because you self-actualize who you are, what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it. You don't really care. You'll leave. It doesn't matter. You make it happen. You work it out.
So many jobs.
Oh
my!
You're just like, I believe it.
No matter how much I needed it, you think I need this job?
Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Was it the pay? Was it the attitude?
So it can be a number of things. It could be the pay. It could be the attitude. I've had jobs where I've butted heads with older people at the jobs
Oh, yeah, we
because
all
maybe
do
they
that.
didn't like the way I was doing something. But it's like, if I'm getting it done and I'm doing it right, what do it matter?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And just headbutting and not being able to have a conversation because you think your way is the only way. And I'll take responsibility. You know, maybe I came off.
Because that's what I was going to ask you.
Your most authentic self.
Yeah,
No,
since you're in the
maybe,
leadership role right now with
right.
younger kids, do you see where maybe you could have done things
I could hold
different?
myself accountable,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, it's an equal ground. It's an equal playing ground because
Exactly.
I've worked in places too when it's the moment that help happens. I'm dusting off my resume, getting it ready, and looking for something else.
Right.
But as a single mom, I always had the responsibility to make sure that I maintained a job. I did not walk away from a job.
Right.
I couldn't do that.
Never,
But
ever.
Without having another one lined
Without
up.
having, I needed to go somewhere.
Now,
I was gone and I'll look later. I was oh, what? I mean, I was living in my grandpa's house at the point in time. But still,
I wasn't going to say nothing, but
I come home like, man.
he had a place to come back.
And that's important too. That's another, you're talking about a solution because some people don't have any place to go to, right?
Right.
But the fact that you had grandparents that said, we will accept you
Exactly.
and help you to get through that
Definitely
process.
blessed.
Because that's all about growing up. It's the journey. It's living life, right?
But I was going to say, I will say this with the older generation, specifically our grandparents, I do admire the way that they handle their relationships and they know how to stay committed.
So what other things would you like to see another generation doing that would bring some experiences or finality to your goals and objectives in life?
You know, you a millennial too.
What did he say?
I'm an old soul.
Looking at Janelle, you're
I be hanging out with I call them the old lady gang. That's who I be hanging out with.
So I will say this, and this kind of goes back into like my working field. I work in construction. I'm a glazer, so this glass doors and stuff like this.
Good to know.
I do
Note to
stuff
self.
like this. So I've had some of them. Like I said, they don't like to see younger people coming up and trying to learn and possibly going a little further than them, and you know what I'm saying. But
You're talking about the old folks?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
older.
Let's be clear. You're talking about old people.
Older,
Okay, go ahead.
older
Go ahead.
than me.
Go ahead.
But,
Go ahead.
But really just being able to show and don't mind teaching, which
Yeah.
also comes back to us because we have to not mind learning.
Right.
You know, we have to be able to soak up game.
Right,
You
right.
have to soak
Right.
it up, but you have to also have people that are willing to show and not be, okay, if I show you this, you might
Take my
take
job.
my job, or
There you go.
you may take what I'm showing you and take it to a whole nother level, but like that's fine if I do that, and you know how to do it too.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
like it got to be a take, and you scratch my back, I scratch your back
Exactly.
type of thing. You know
That's
what I'm
a good
saying?
point.
Not the crab
Not
in the
look at
barrel.
everybody as a threat, and I
Right.
can't look as an
Because
older
they're
person as a threat.
insecure.
Exactly, because
They have
they're-
not arrived at self-actualization.
Right, but we can't do it either and think that, like, you're better than me. You've been doing this longer than me, so I don't really want to learn you. Nah, I gotta be able to take just as much as I'm willing to give.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good point. I think if we can all come to the table and admit that everybody brings something to the table.
Right.
I accept you for who you are. You accept me for who I am. I expect your creativity, your youth. You expect, hopefully, my wisdom,
Right.
my experience.
Right.
And then we always have to remember, especially on a job, whether you're working for yourself or you're working for the government or some institution, usually whatever the job is, everybody has the same goal for the most part.
Yeah, not being
Yeah.
crabs in the barrels, trying
Yeah.
to
Pull
bring
each
each
other
other
down.
down.
Right, exactly.
Help each other.
Yeah.
You get up, you pull somebody else up.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Right.
Bring
But do
one
you
with
really think people that are in positions of power are going to give that up? Just to
Well, it's not a
mentor
matter of
someone else.
It depends.
Look at the government.
I've had it. I've had it on my job.
Look at the government.
They own.
No, I think I
I've
looked
had it
at
on
it
my
this
job.
way. Why work harder, work smarter?
Yeah.
Right.
So if somebody else is coming to me when I hired staff, I did not hire somebody that knew less than me.
Right.
I hired somebody that knew more than me or some aspect of the job
That's
that
how
I
you
didn't know.
learn.
Right.
And then we were a team.
Exactly.
And I do recall when I would hire people, especially when it came to the field of technology, my boss would come and say, this guy's name was Randy. I love Randy. The reason I hired Randy was because he knew technology, and that's what I needed on my team. I didn't care if he knew the rest of the job. He knew that part.
That you needed him.
My boss came to me. He said, you know he's not going to be there that long. You know we're getting ready to take him. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and hire another Randy, right? And even I think to this day, we're friends on Facebook or something like that. But the idea is work smarter. You don't have to worry about working that hard and watching your back. If you put good people in the position, and if you needed to watch your back, you probably needed to go anyway, right? It was your time. It's time to move on anyway.
But just real quick, when I was working, I had worked on a job. Dee worked on it. She was in a different department than I was. I had this idea that I wanted to do, and I could not have pulled this idea off. It was working with kids without Deirdre.
Thank you for that.
Deirdre wrote the program. She's a boss. She's a boss. And if it wasn't for her, that program would not have worked. And we helped a lot of kids.
Yeah.
We did a lot with some kids in the projects, and it was a
Right.
total success.
It was. But you're the one that
Kudos.
came up with the idea.
So that's
So all I had to do was bridge the gap.
Correct.
Again,
Yeah.
from administration and what her idea was. She worked directly into the community. I was sitting in an office building.
Right.
So
she
do
did
we
the
call
feet
that
work.
collaboration?
So it was collaboration.
It's collaboration. At the end of the day, if we can take our skill sets, whether we're young or old or in between, and we can collaborate with one another, then we can do the job better and get the job done.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's what we want, right?
Yeah.
Get
I
the
met this
job
young
done.
lady this evening. She was here, and I'm not going to mention her name because maybe it's not right. She might not want her name on this podcast. But nonetheless, she was sharing with me that her job now is to help people market themselves on social media, in video, because a lot of people are working from home now, and it's they do Zoom calls.
I love that.
And what was really interesting,
love
what I really liked, I like a lot of things about this woman I met this evening, but what her job and what she's doing and her approach is that this is a new way. We're changing. Things are changing. People are working from home, but not everybody who's working from home knows how to do a Zoom call. No, it's one thing for me to talk to Dee one-on-one. It's another thing for me to be doing this podcast. So her job is that she goes into to companies, and she's a consultant, and she's offering classes and training to better everybody who may not be as good on Zoom or good on video. Instead of saying, well, you're too old for that, or you're not experienced enough. Again, it's all about accepting people, for who they are, collaborating, and realizing that everybody, I keep saying that because I think that that's one of the biggest problems in change and accepting generations is that we all have to just respect each other. I don't care how old you are, what you look like, you just got to be for real.
Right.
Your authentic selves.
Be a life learner.
That too.
I say I'm a life learner. I'm always looking for the next level. What's next? What's new? What did I miss? And that brings about some sort of collaboration and unity too. But you also find your niche, right? You find where you fit in, and you fit in where you can get in, right? Some people, and if they don't let you in, that means you were going in the wrong place to begin with. So,
well, what do you guys think? That was a pretty enlightening discussion. And
Troy, you have any last comments?
yeah, I was going to defer to Troy or anybody else who wanted
Troy?
to say.
Thanks for having me. I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Millennial. Will you come back?
Yeah, you think it's a good
If y'all want me to,
subject?
oh yeah, definitely. It's a great subject for sure. A lot of good topics that I feel like need to be talked about because people may look past it, over it, whatever the case may be. It's some stuff that need to be brought to attention. So I feel like y'all picked a very good topic for this podcast tonight.
Very good, very good.
you.
I applaud y'all.
Thank you. Thank
You know what I'm saying?
So we were gentle, right?
Oh yeah.
They were nice
Scared
to
of y'all.
you.
Would you come back?
So,
Yeah, if y'all wanted me back, I'll
Okay.
come back for sure.
Some other
That
subject.
ain't no problem.
okay, that brings us to the next segment of our wonderful podcast this evening. And we're going to do a little game, a little quiz that pretty much challenges the generation age gap. And
I was never good at tests.
we did the, well, this
either.
is not a test, so don't get scared. Don't get scared. It's not a test. We actually did this, something similar to this in one of our former groups that we did. We had a celebration not too long ago, the 28th of July. Girl, I remembered it. Woo! Give me, okay. Okay, so we also did a quiz like this, and we got the most followers from that freaking quiz. So let's just jump into it, Janelle. Go ahead and start it off.
Lord. Okay. Because I feel like we've gone through these.
But yeah, we're going to do it again because it was so good.
I guess. All right, let's go for our first. Well, no.
Okay.
This is for the older generation.
Okay.
Boom.
So y'all
Hit
have.
them with it.
Okay.
Hit them with it. You ready, Phyllis?
Okay. I'm representing. I'm okay to be old. Okay.
So y'all have to give us the definition of what lit means.
Lit. Okay. Like,
Lit.
what
Lit.
does lit mean? Okay.
Means you're high, you're drunk.
No, like
So now we're bridging generational gaps. That's
what I
not what
heard.
that means.
She was lit.
That's not what we. No.
Hold on.
Tony said.
It's going on.
Tony got it.
It's party.
Turned up.
So what
Turned up.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I don't think having some cocktails is not a good thing.
That's
I
not
always
what
thought-
you said.
Well, I always think that people come back and say, "Well, we want to go get lit," and there's like, "We're going to."
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. We don't really call it that no more.
Okay, well, look, bring me up to date.
But also, you know, you had your times. Well, I was.
Okay, so what does lit mean? What does lit mean?
It's a good time.
So
It's
it
just
can-
you having a good time.
Okay. So
So it can mean a couple of things then.
It could.
Okay,
It could.
right.
It could.
but it used to mean that.
It's how you use
What
it.
I said, it used to
But
be.
actually, it still means that.
Well,
But I think we're speaking the same thing, but a different language.
No, it's how you use it in a sentence.
the
That part.
connotation.
Okay.
That part.
That part.
Okay.
Okay.
But we always meant to me
Next
having
question.
a good time.
Next
Okay,
question.
next
What's the next question,
Next-
Debbie?
Am I supposed to read that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for the younger generation, what is a pager used for?
See, I know you got this.
Oh yeah.
Because I ain't
You feel
have
me?
one.
Pager, you feel me? Boop boop boop. Hold on, who that? Okay, let me call you real quick. You feel me? You need me to call you. That's what the pager was. I mean, if it was
That's 'cause
911,
you're
I need
not
to call
that
you right now. You know, I need to call you right now.
Okay,
You know.
but what did you call them on? Did you have a cell phone?
No.
So-
just
You had to go to the
a pager.
payphone. You had to go
Right.
to the payphone and call
I ain't gonna lie. I don't remember no payphones. You're
You're not that much
I
younger
don't
than
remember
me.
no payphones like that.
He did have to go to the payphone, or he
I
had
was
to
about
bring
to
his ass
say.
home.
You had to go. You had to drive home.
He came
I
home.
wasn't driving. Probably hop
I
on
didn't,
my
but see,
bike.
you got a pager. I didn't get a pager. I just had to call collect. I'm telling my age. I just had to call collect. And one day my grandpa got pissed because I kept calling collect and he was paying the bill. I wish I would have had a pager. I still would have had to call collect.
So, but there are some people, if we were to ask the generation before the millennials, they might not even know what a pager is because they never used it.
Right.
So again,
Yeah.
it really depends on your life experience, what you're exposed to.
Okay.
Doesn't make it any better or any worse.
I remember when
Next question.
Ashley and Janelle asked me what was a reel-to-reel. They go, "What is that, Mom?"
A reel-to-reel.
Or they say, "What's that?" It's a record.
Okay, wait. We got to
Okay,
get
go ahead.
I want to go to this next
Okay,
question
go-
because I know they're not
all
going
right.
to get it.
All right, go to the next one.
Okay, what is it?
Yeah,
I'm going to give
can
you a
chop
last
chop?
question. It's going to be easy. So
Okay.
we've gone through this before, so I know you know the answer. What does capping mean? What does no cap mean?
What did you say?
What does no cap mean? What's it mean?
No cap.
We call it playing the dozens.
Huh?
Are you saying capping?
Yeah, what's capping?
When you talk about people's
That's when you
mama or
talk
something
about
like
people.
that.
Quit capping on me.
Now, I remember that. That was about 20 years ago.
Okay, but that's our generation.
I remember that.
I reviewed this with them.
Right,
They should know.
Okay, so what is it?
Lying. You're lying.
you
You're
lying?
capping.
Oh, yeah.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Cap now means to lie.
Stop the cap.
Okay.
No cap. Like,
All
I
right.
ain't capping, but
Okay.
no cap.
Next time I talk to Thina, I'm saying,
What
capping.
Yeah, tell her quit capping. Tell her quit
You be like,
capping.
that's
It's like,
cap.
my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
I ain't capping. No cap.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. But at least you were there 20 years ago
I
to
was
know
definitely
that.
there.
Well,
I was there.
that's when I left them.
Remember.
No,
It might have even been longer than 20 years.
Yeah,
Like,
I started listening to Boney
Might have been
James. You know what I'm
25.
saying? I left that genre.
What's the last question, Debbie?
the last question is for the younger generation.
What up?
Why was Y2K such a big deal?
Because y'all was scared of 3 zeros, so I don't know.
Why were we scared?
I can't. Wait. That's probably. I can answer this. Y'all really thought it was the end of the world. Do you know it was 1999? I'll never forget. They got us dressed up on New Year's Eve, and we had to go to church.
I was 6.
We were in church. Shut up. We were in church for like 5 hours waiting for the world to end. It was horrible.
I was visiting Deirdre in North
We were
Carolina.
in North Carolina, and she brought her
Ridiculous.
daughters, and then we went out to a nice dinner. We had them all dressed
That
up.
was your last supper?
That was
Yes, it was our last
She
supper.
thought it was our last meal.
blame
She
Arnold
thought we had to be
Schwarzenegger.
in church and we were gonna die.
I blame
We
the
were in
Terminator.
church.
I blame the Terminator.
That was great. What a lot of fun. I'm so glad that you invited Troy, Deb, to come to our podcast.
Agreed.
I learned a lot. I know what capping is now, and I can tell that I'm going to have to bone up on some of the things that he talked about today. Seems like I'm a
I
few
can't
years
wait to
behind.
use that tomorrow.
I know. I can't wait. But anyway, I really enjoyed it, and thank you for having him here. And thank you, our dear audience, for participating with us this week. You can find us at theblacktea.com. You can find us on social media outlets. Hit us up on the DM, and we can also, we'd love to highlight your business. So take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. See you next time.